You don't know me. You just met me. Why you sweat me? 'Cause there's a lot of real G's doing time. Because a groupie bit the truth and stole and told a lie. I think that's what he said. Tupac Shakur. Let me tell y'all something. I was about I was about 27, 26, 27 when Biggie and Tupac, was doing their thing. Nah, I was younger than that. I was around that age when Tupac first got out of jail. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about, how people were doing him in jail, because they thought he was rich, and then they was trying to, mess with him. And but when I first heard Tupac and he came out with Digital Underground, I was like, okay, you know. But he was the standout person from the group. I mean, they were all kind of stand out. They could all do their own thing, but you could tell that Pac was the guy who was gonna really do something. I mean, Humpty, he had his sticks, and he came out with the Humpty dance, and that was cool. But and they came out with "Do What You Like." I see guys and girls dancing. So I liked Digital Underground as a group. With Pac in it and everything. They had some good dance music, but back then, I was wondering why do you keep calling these women out their names. Now, I grew up in the hood. I'm just gonna say that I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the hood that is no longer there. It's torn down, projects and everything. You know, I grew up rough. You know what I'm saying? People dying and all that other stuff. It isn't as rampant as it is now, but you know, babies in garbage cans and rats, roaches, the whole nine. The hood was hard. My way of getting out of the hood was I joined the service. My brother joined the service. My sister on my dad's side joined the service. Her kid is now in the service. My dad was in the service. So that was one of the ways I got out the hood. Now my brother, he did his thing. My sisters, they start, having kids, so they start having a family to deal with early. But I'm saying all this to say that a lot of the people in my hood were some regular people. There was always the local drug dealer, but there wasn't a bunch of us. We were mostly into sports. Now that's in my day. You got, as the hoods changed, a lot more people got into, drugs because people kept advertising drugs. Be a drug dealer, get respect, get the cars, get the women, get put in jail, get shot in the face, get your whole mama's house shot up, get the feds to break into your house, in the rain in the middle of the night and take everything that you earned, even the little shoebox money that you have. Uh, get a couple numbers, federal numbers, have a federal record. And then, pretty much you're not able to get any job, come back to the hood after, 10, 20 years of being locked up and so on and so forth. This is what people advertise. When I listened to Tupac after he left from the Digital Underground, he was saying stuff that just made me question why are you going this route? And I'm thinking, okay, because he grew up in the hood. He's trying to get out, and he kept talking about the hood, dear mama, and I was with that. But then he would switch up and just start calling women crazy stuff again. And then you would see these excerpts on Tupac talking, this knowledge, knowledge that he had in jail and stuff like that. And you'd be like, this man is the son of someone who was in affiliated with the Black Panthers, who President Trump basically is trying to get Assata Shakur. So, the thing about it is Tupac's, his lineage, his bloodline, I mean, his potential, his potential was so great. When he spoke, people listened. But some of the stuff he was speaking about just wasn't worth listening to. And it bothered me because I knew Tupac could have been a better person than what he was. Now, when he signed with Death Row after he got out of jail, of course, dealing with Suge and all that, everybody knew that was a hard way to go. When he made that movie, Gridlock, I mean, it was the truth. He was really in a gridlock. He was a good actor, even when you saw him in, was it Juice? Yeah, when you saw him in that movie, flipping out, with Janet Jackson. He was a good actor. He was like, this dude has such charisma. And he could draw people in with his words and with his personality. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this dude got people even now willing to die for him. And that type of power doesn't come with anybody. That type of power is rare. And I just kept wondering, Pac, why do you keep talking crazy and living crazy? I mean, and then turn around and do a Dear Mama. And it's like, why can't you stay on that route? Pac shot 2 police because they was harassing a man. You do that now, you're dying. Pac was about equality in the hood. And he kept talking about it, but then some of the ways he lived just didn't equal up to what he was saying. You know, they said his murder was gang related. Crips and Bloods type of thing. Listen, I can't speak on the Crips and Bloods because I know, look, only thing I know about the Crips and Bloods is what I saw on TV. I personally don't know any Crips or Bloods. But I couldn't understand why they were killing each other. And then I was like, they need someone. They need a voice. Someone to tell them to stop all this murdering. And that could have easily been Tupac. To me, listen, I'm going to tell you something. If Tupac was alive right now, and he would have went the way that I felt he should have went, that dude could easily be a very, very thorough politician. And not only a politician, he could easily be he could have enough power to galvanize not only one hood, 2 hoods. He can galvanize the people across the nation. That's how much charisma he had. That's the type of backing that he could have had. He could have stopped a lot of violence instead of running up in a hotel and stomping people out. When he was wearing, when he it was on that album cover when he was wearing filas and counting money, I was thinking to myself, why? Why are you going this route? I was never a Tupac fan when it came to music. I was never like, yeah, I gotta go get that Tupac. I never owned the Tupac album. But I always watched what he was doing. Not with great detail, but I always watched and wondered because I knew he had the potential to be better than anybody else out there who was just talking about rap. I ain't talking about being a better artist. I'm talking about he had the power to get people together and to start thinking in a certain way more than any other rapper that I saw out there at that time. He was more than a rapper. And he could have did a lot more. But then when he would start talking about Biggie and his wife and stuff like that, once again, I was like, why? Why are you going down this route? And Big was like, who shot you? And truthfully, I was listening. I had a Biggie Smalls album. I was listening to Biggie back to back. I'm I'm not from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I never grew up, in the drug game, although I knew the drug game. I never grew up like that. I never, you know what I'm saying? But Biggie hit me in a way that it just Like I used to listen to Biggie every morning when I was in college. I woke up to it, Biggie, Biggie, Biggie. I mean, bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Biggie, Biggie, Biggie Smalls is the illest. I mean, I didn't even curse or swear, but I was listening to Big. I'm going back, back. And when I saw them two square off over microphones, you know what I'm saying? Biggie was like, I'm going back to Cali. My first thoughts was, you should go nowhere near Cali, Big. I knew it was the beginning of the end. I was listening to Faith real tough too. Faith was all right. Boom, 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 boom. I remember all the way you used to love. I'd still crank that right now. Her and Carl Thomas. But I knew it was going downhill. And then when Pac got shot the first time, I was hoping. See, I was never like, yeah, Pac, yeah, I'm die for Pac. But I was hoping as a regular dude. See, I'm not a hood dude. I'm a regular dude. When they talk about regular dudes out there, you when you open a regular dude in the dictionary, in the hood dictionary, you'll see it. I'm a regular dude. I'm not a hood dude. I don't drink, smoke, party. I don't do none of that. I'm a regular dude. And the regular dudes, the regular people, we were looking at Pac in a whole different way. It wasn't about bigging up our hood or, and all this other nonsense. It was like, yo, you could straighten up our hood. You could stop the violence. You could continue to do what some of these rappers had started to do, like Public Enemy and Queen Latifah, and when they was getting together and talking about stopping the violence, you could have continued that. This is my thought. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. All those rappers who lived in those hoods, each one of them, they all knew it was going downhill. Not murder music start coming out, this went all south. Eazy-E and them boys came out, and they was just talking about their hood. But nonetheless, that music was promoted so much, the killing just escalated. Like it was okay to kill a black man if you're a black man. I was like, yo, Pac. When Pac got out of jail and he made that album, with the glasses on, nice little get up, I was like, yeah, maybe he gonna straighten up now. He was in a gridlock. And when they killed Tupac, it didn't surprise me. When they killed Biggie, I knew it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. I think the only person who didn't, well, I think Biggie knew it was coming. You know it's coming because they was beefing so hard, and Biggie ain't really want to beef with him. He was like, "Who shot you?" You know what I'm saying? He was like, "I ain't shoot you. I ain't had nothing to do with you. The cops that shot you was gonna shoot anybody coming up them stairs trying to rob you on your way to the studio. They was on anybody. That's what it was. I would have came up there, they would shot me for no reason. Anybody come up there, that's what it was. When you got called to the studio, you didn't get set up. It was a setup for anyone. Big had nothing to do with it. Two friends who were made to be enemies. because of the music industry. They were positioned to be enemies. And they're gone, and people are still beefing over Tupac and Biggie today. You better believe somebody done slugged it out recently. And then this movie comes out, which I'm not going to see. I lived it. I saw all I wanted to see of what happened to Pac. I don't need to know anymore. I knew there was somebody who could have been more of a blessing than a harm, but turned out to be more harm than a blessing. He was put in a position, even by the girl that said he raped her, all that. They did that to them. They positioned them to go at each other. It was bigger than Tupac. He was being played, and I think he knew it. The system of music was playing him. They were all getting paid. They were all getting played. That's all it was. And truthfully, I wish Pac wouldn't have never gotten the music. I wish Pac would have headed straight towards politics. I'd be voting for him right now. Because he could do what very few people can do. He just had that blessing. You know? But the system saw it. And just like the rest of our leaders, and just like anybody else who stands up and tries to be a leader and not a puppet and speaks against the system, they get rid of you. And that's what happened to Pac. Now, you guys can say it was gang related and all that. Okay, fine. But you think the things that are happening on these streets, you think all these gangs on these streets, especially, just look at the Willie Lynch letter. You think all this stuff isn't orchestrated? Tupac got caught up in it, but he knew what was going on. He saw what was going on, and he couldn't get out. I was like, why, Pac? Why? Why go after Big, Pac? Why? You know if you go after Big, this dude represents New York, Brooklyn. You know how Brooklyn dudes do. You know what's going to happen. Nobody's going to take that sitting down. Big, if you go after Pac, you already know he's from L.A. You already know what's going to happen. I'm just saying, people, I'm not going to see the Tupac movie. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to relive it because to me, two people who could have done more harm than good, or could have done more good than harm is doing more harm than good. And they got played by the system. And they couldn't get out. It's your boy Tone 202.